Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, and today we'll be talking about the issue of pest snails, something that most aquarium hobbyists face in this industry. So where do these pest snails originate from? It could come from literally anywhere, alright? So it could come from your sand, your rocks, your wood, but most importantly they come from plants. So what happens is these pest snails lay eggs which are not visible to the naked eye. So even when you look at it, you sometimes may not be able to find them. But once you add everything into the tank, at times you will see that there are these tiny little conical or your round shaped snails that start popping up onto the glass in your aquariums. Now a lot of people like to have pest snails because they do help with algae control to a certain extent. But one thing to watch out for is that pest snails reproduce super fast, which means they can literally overtake your tank if you have not controlled it in time. So today we'll be talking about 3 methods that we could look at in terms of how to tackle that problem of pest snails. So option 1, let's say if you're introducing any stem plants into the tank. So here I've got a couple of stem plants, pot plants basically. The thing is, your pot plants are grown outside of water. So what happens is anywhere, whichever brand you're working with, when you have plants growing outside of water, there is a possibility of pest snails laying eggs all over the plants as well. And when you look at the plant, naturally you will not be able to see that there are snails or any such issue. Like here, even if you do a close-up video, you will see that the plant is very healthy. No sign of snails anywhere that I can see. But you can never be sure. So here we have some pot plants, and I'll show you how we could kind of take care of your pot plants before introducing them into the tank. Here I have another pot plant. That we could do when you're introducing any stem plants or pot plants into the tank is remove it from the sponge. So here you have like the entire bunch, so you just pull it out. And here what I have is water. So normally what is recommended is hydrogen peroxide 3%. You can use any hydrogen peroxide solution that you get from any medical store. Over here what I got my hands on today was a 6% solution. The ideal recommendation is 1 part of hydrogen peroxide, which is the 3% diluted portion is what I'm talking about, to 3 parts of water. So here, because I've got the 6% hydrogen peroxide, I'll be diluting it into 6 parts of water, thereby diluting it a bit further. By the way, I've had a guest walk in just now. His name is Arnav, and he said, he's been following our YouTube channels. And this is Arnav. You can say hi.
Hello.
Anything that you want to tell or say here?
Not really.
Not yet? All right. You finished your shopping?
Yeah. I think we would buy the driftwood now.
Oh, is it? You want the driftwood? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll get you someone to help you out. I'll get someone to help you out.
Okay.
Okay, done. So here we have the 6% hydrogen peroxide, and we'll be using like 1 part to 6 parts of water to ensure that it's diluted. That's about it. You just mix it into water. All you've got to do is just take these stems and soak it in for about 10-15 minutes. What it does is if there are any snail eggs or pest snails, it's going to kind of kill them, making it quite safe to add them into your aquariums. Once you're done with this process, after your 15-20 minute wait, what you'd want to do is quickly rinse it out in normal water, preferably in your RO water, and then add it into the aquarium. So that's step 1. The second, oh by the way, I forgot to mention that if you're using tissue cultured cups, you don't have to you can skip this process entirely, because your tissue culture plants will not have pest snails. They are cultured in the lab, so it's absolutely safe to just directly use them. I'm sure you would have seen in some of the other videos that we've done, we just kind of rinse out the gel based in your tissue culture cups and you can just add them into the tank directly. However, if you're using stem plants or pot plants like the ones that's grown outside, your floating plants, any plant that's grown outside of water, it's always a good practice to mix it into your hydrogen peroxide solution just to be on the safe side before you add it into the tank. The second method, so let's say you've skipped this method, you still have some pest snails that's cropped up from somewhere. One safest option I would call is introducing some assassin snails into the tank. So whether you have shrimps in there or let's say you've got tiny fish in there, your assassin snails are super useful, I would say, when you add them into the tank. Now, when you're adding assassin snails, it's not going to be a very quick and easy solution because your assassin snails are going to take time. They move at snail's pace. So at the end of the day, if you have a lot of infestation of your pest snails in the tank, what I would recommend is adding a few of these assassin snails into the tank and let them do their magic. But at the same time, what I always call this is a hand-in-hand process. So let's say you see pest snails, crawling on your glass or on your filters or where you have easy access to. What I would definitely recommend is take out whatever you see on a day-to-day basis. Your assassin snails will go after the smaller pest snails and the real tiny ones which you cannot see. So in the long run, you will see that the population of your pest snails are reducing. So that was option 2. Option 3 is your pea puffers. Alright, pea puffers are excellent for curbing your pest snails. They are very quick and effective. You add a pea puffer, a dwarf pea puffer into any tank, you will see the pest snails vanish like that. So they are like super quick. But one thing to watch out for is that pea puffers can be a little territorial. What do I mean by that? They have a temperament of their own. So let's say you have a planted tanks with lots of tetras, rasboras, your smaller fish basically. There is a chance that your pea puffer is going to go after them as well. I've had people tell me success stories of keeping pea puffers in their planted tank without any issues. But I've also, with experience, I can guarantee and tell you that it may not really work in the long run because it's only a matter of time when they get very territorial. So at that point in time, they can actually nip the fins and tails of your other fish, thereby killing all of them. So if you're using pea puffers in the tank, add them into the tank, let them sort out the problem, and then you remove the pea puffer once your snail infestation is done, dusted, over with. It's best to house them separately. So that was option 3. One other solution, I said I will give you 3 solutions, but one more thing that I've seen a lot of people ask me at the store is for copper solutions. Now, copper solutions are super effective as well when it comes to controlling your pest snails, but we usually don't go down that method simply because copper solutions are highly toxic for all crustaceans. So let's say it's just not going to go after your pest snails. Let's say you have shrimps in the tank or any other snails in the tank, is going to basically kill all of them. Copper solution lasts in your water for much longer after your treatment is done, making it next to impossible to add, let's say, shrimps or snails at least for the next 5 to 6 months once you've used the copper solution dosage, which is one of the reasons where we don't really go ahead and recommend that as a direct option. But let's say if it's a tank where you don't have any livestock, you're just planning on resetting it completely. And if you're just looking for a quick fix, because I've had one customer walk into the store with a tank with almost at least 200 to 300 snails infested in a tiny nano tank. So if that's going to be the case, go ahead and use your copper solution. It's quick, easy, effective. You just get rid of all of them in one go and you have a clean tank. So that's pretty much for today. Do like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever it takes, and let us know what would be your choice when it came down to tackling pest snails in the tank. Thank you and stay tuned for more updates.